And we are live on the Red Pill News. Joe keeps telling me I should have some music when I start the show. So I'm going to think about it, man. Maybe I'll get some bagpipes or something, like, I don't know, or one of those tong, now, 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 when you think of putting your teeth. Flute, something like that. Guitar. Anyway, Red Pill News for September 23rd, 2021, the day before my birthday, man. And it's a tough year. Lost my mom in April, first year, you know, going on without her. And it's a hard thing, man. So, you know what life is? It's a shit sandwich. It really is. And you need to find your peace of mind. And you would think that you've been knocked around enough and sledgehammered emotionally, everything, right? And even all of us, here we are in the middle of this pandemic. It's like a roller coaster ride. The morale of the country and the world is down. People don't know what's going to come around the next corner. You know, the officials act like it's the very first time it's happened, and people running around saying, "What should we do? What should we do?" And there's just no easy solutions. There's no easy anything, as a matter of fact. If you work all together as a people for a goal, it does get easy. But when you're the individuals just trying to piecemeal things together, it makes it very hard. So, but we see COVID, we see the spread, we see what's going on. You hear all kinds of claptrap. I don't even listen to the media. I don't watch any cable news, nothing. There's no point. It's not even entertainment. It's propaganda. I don't like propaganda. I need the news. Back in the day, growing up on Long Island, it was important to read newspapers, man. I mean, every house in my neighborhood, all my friends, everybody had three newspapers delivered: Newsday, the Daily News, and the New York Times, just like that. Of course, the Sunday Times. It was a lot of newspaper. It still is. So talk about not being ignorant and learning about things. And the news back then was written by people that had not that the heart of yellow journalism, but the heart of being that citizen journalism and telling truths as to what the story is, what's happening, and not fill it full of leading opinions. Right? You watch cable news; that's all it is. They cherry pick a couple bits of information from a story, and then they use it to push their agenda. That you can't learn anything from people like that. So I go beyond politics, and the things I want to know have nothing to do with Joe Biden going down in flames and all these people who said they were going to do these amazing things. They lie. It doesn't matter. You knew that he was going to get in and fail. You see what's going on. And then you have all the naysayers and all the people that they hate on one side, they hate on the other. And it's so funny to listen to them because they're such hypocrites. And, it just reaffirms my feelings of what they all are to begin with. So, with that, this story is what tweaked my eye. A herd of drunk Indian buffaloes exposed a hidden stash of contraband liquor and got a group of farmers arrested. So, in a world of chaos, it's to soothe you to know that there are drunken buffalo walking around India, and they're probably, I don't know, mooing, having a good time, whatever the hell a drunken buffalo does. So three tipsy buffaloes, three. And it's amazing that they noticed three tipsy buffaloes. It's something that you really have to be a son of the soil to to say, hey, those buffaloes are drunk. I think they got a problem, man. Three tipsy buffaloes blew the cover of an illegal liquor stash in India after getting drunk from water in a trough that hid moonshine bottles. Police seized a total of 101 bottles of liquor, 101 bottles of liquor on the wall, 101 bottles of liquor. If one of the buffaloes will happen to fall, 100 bottles of liquor on the wall. Arrested three farmers for the illegal selling of alcohol in the dry state of Gujarat. Dry state. What keep people from their booze, man? Especially in India. You know, come on. One of the farmers had called a vet when the buffaloes stopped eating and started frothing at the mouth. The next day, the buffaloes began jumping around willy nilly, by the way, and continued frothing. Willy nilly buffaloes and frothing. You see, my weird life would just process that as normal. I wouldn't even. I mean, unless they were my buffaloes and I knew the way they acted every day, it's not something. Driving down the street and there's some buffaloes on the side of the road dancing around willy nilly, frothing at the mouth. But be like, "These buffaloes are acting weird, man. They're weird, man. Call 911. There's weird buffaloes on the road. You better get somebody over here. They're willy nilly, frothing, man." The second vet noticed a strange smell coming from the trough and discovered that the water inside had turned yellow. The farmers told him that the color was from branches falling in the water. Ah, the old branches falling in the moonshine to hide the fact that it's moonshine trick. But the vet reported them to the authorities after leaving the stable willy nilly. When the cops raided the stable, they found bottles of vodka, whiskey, and other liquor worth around 430 bucks. Well, a whole 430 bucks. They found it all tucked inside the trough and under some fodder. The animals probably drank the water laced liquor from the damaged liquor bottles and they got drunk willy nilly. So that's the story I like. Drunken buffaloes. It makes me much happier than thinking about Joe Biden. You know, much happier. So, but just last week I was talking about Trevor Noah. He's making or made his triumphant return to the Countdown Channel. I have grown beyond television. I have made a decision that I'm done. It brings me no joy or happiness. And it's not, I mean, I have a Roku and I have all this stuff preloaded, what I like, right? I can binge on Office reruns for free on Peacock, for instance. It's all preloaded on my Roku, and then they do have like commercials, but at least they don't slam you with commercials. But the most important thing to me, they're not all these horrible drug ads, and there's reasons for that because these channels broadcast internationally, and there's only two countries that allow drug ads on broadcast television. That's New Zealand and United States of America, which is why you see so many of them to begin with. So I have found, and of course, I subscribe to other services, and really what it comes down to, it's not that much money for a lot of content, and like when I had just cable Spectrum, which used to be Time Warner. They charge you a boatload of money for nothing for this crapola. And that's antique thinking. That type of programming is going on the way out. Now people want to really choose what they watch. When I ended up like Netflix watching Lost, if I had to sit there, it ran for like 6 or 7 seasons, so 6 or 7 years, man. If I had to sit there for that length of time to watch that stupid show, and it got like really dumb, ridiculous right away. It went from a little mysterious, a little interesting. Then they put the fat guy in charge of the food, which, really? Really? Does that make sense? And then a whole bunch of things didn't add up during the whole thing. And then the fog or the smoke that came out and killed people, then the others. Ugh. If I had to watch, I still don't figure out what happened in the last one. If I had to like sit there for a long time, I just can't do it, man. I can't wait in line, and I can't. I'm not that guy that's going to sit there and watch a series. I just can't do it. I need to have it all at once or nothing, which is why you binge watch, right? So Trevor Noah. So he's on the Comedy Channel. Comedy Channel has become really offensive, and not like fake offensive either. When I listen to what people on there say, it's all about race, race, race. And, it has nothing to do with laughing, ha ha, he. Comedians are afraid to say anything because they don't want to be beaten up on stage or called out. The whole thing has shifted, man. You know, the comedians that I really like are still hardcore. Dave Chappelle, people like that, you know, are really out there, and that's good, man. But not on the Comedy Channel. In fact, he speaks out against the Comedy Channel. So I don't watch it. No reason to watch it. I was only watching it for Office reruns. Then they started messing with the Office reruns and putting these people that didn't even belong on television on TV. And then they were bragging about airing Friends reruns. I'm like, Friends? You mean the TV show from, like, I think, what was it, in the 90s? Friends. I didn't watch it then. I wouldn't watch it now. But if you have a comedy network, the Comedy Channel, and you have to brag nonstop in your commercials about you are having Friends, you're going to be playing reruns of Friends. That's got to be as pathetic as you can get for any kind of thing that offers programming, So, and then they put a Trevor Noah on at night, and that guy's messed up, man. He now he has no shut off valve. Oh, I mean, I haven't seen him lately, but the last time I saw him, he was just really, really hardcore with the race and hating and no, not funny at all, as a matter of fact. So, and then it's not something you want to see. Now, interestingly enough, Jon Stewart is on the Apple channel with his new show, who actually did the show that Trevor Noah is on. So, and everybody used to talk about the Daily Show, man. It was, hey, did you see the Daily Show last night? Nobody I knew. There was people I overheard in other conversations. Nobody I knew would ever, nobody I know would ever say that to me. Did you see the Daily Show? There are people that I'm kind of like not friends but acquaintances with, and you see them enough where you have a dialogue and they know a little about you and whatever. And then they try to sell me on things like Brad Pitt. No, you gotta see Fight Club, man. It'll make you look at Brad Pitt a different way, dude. Like, listen, man, stop trying to push Brad Pitt on me. It's not something I have sorrow for him because of his divorce with Angelina Jolie and what she did to his brain, what she really did to his brain, you know? And he reflected on days when he was with Jennifer Aniston, sitting around naked on the couch, smoking weed. And he said that that was a bad life. You're not going to be able to sell that to anybody. Tell you do it out there, naked on the couch, Jennifer Aniston smoking weed. No, let me go hang out with Angelina Jolie, marry her, and adopt a bunch of kids that are out of control. And then she, just you see what she does. You see what she did to this guy. And there's still this divorce going on 7 or 8 years now, still dragging on. She wants him in a hurt locker. She wants the guy to suffer. It's gone beyond an amicable divorce. Now, any judge can see it when it gets to that point where that the people just want them to suffer, you know? So come on, man. So Trevor Noah got together a while back, not even a year ago or something, with Minka Kelly. Might be pretty good with her as far as he's concerned because he ran out and bought a $27.5 million mansion. This is the guy who says tax the rich. This is the guy who says it sucks to be poor. This is the guy who comes from South Africa who says he does things for people there. And I looked into it and he does nothing for anyone there. You know, they started a group many years ago, 5 years ago, that was supposed to put money in. He never did. So, but hey, you know what? I'm not going to begrudge people their success. If you have dosh like that and you want to run out and buy a $27.5 million mansion for the girl you just met, then do it. You know what? There's no guarantee that stupidity is not going to come into play into your bank account. None. So he did it. And the guy, he has a couple of other places. He's a very successful comedian, or he was. So then he got his gig on the Daily Show, and I think that he was barely able to keep his head at the surface of water level for all that time. And then, Trump came into play. Then he just went after Trump like a rabid dog. It wasn't even funny. Even the commercial for his show was just full of hate and anger. And you can be funny and tear someone apart. But to be hateful and do that, it's just ugly, man. And I think the guy in his inner core is better than that, but he never had the direction. When they get successful like that, they end up being surrounded by a bunch of yes men for the most part, and yes people. So that, people aren't really honest with them about what they're doing. So whatever. That's none of my business. It's only my business if I want to turn the channel or not and not watch the thing. And I've never watched this show really. I tune in here, tune in there, watch 2 or 3 minutes. It was just obnoxious and I'm gone. Late night TV's become like that for all of them. There's nobody even decent anymore. I'm not into it. Haven't been into it for years and years and years. So you know, and even David Letterman back in the day was kind of on the cutting edge, and then he got all caught up in the nonsense. So, and then the comedy stops. I think the comedy stops. So anyway, I had mentioned on the show last week about Trevor Noah, Mickey Kelly. I was mocking him about something, and it's kind of like I was talking about more about these relationships with these guys with these women who are a few years older than them, especially ones who have been married before, and they've driven down those streets. The map is not the territory, and these other guys, they don't know what they're doing. They run to these women, they wrap them around their little finger, and it happens often. Look at Prince Harry, man. Come on, man. Perfect gleaming example of somebody who has been wrapped up around someone's little finger. So I did not know this because, believe it or not, I don't follow this stuff. I only when it pops up in front of my face, I'm like, wow. And Britney Spears, like every time she takes off her shirt now, I think because I entered enough in my computer, that's what's coming up nonstop. Well, it's not a terrible thing, but it's not a great thing either. And then, if these people, you have to understand, they're messed up, but they're still people. And there's still people trying to find their way through this world like anybody else is. They might have more money, more fame, and internally live at a certain standard because they're entertainers. They need to entertain people. They need to stay relevant, is what I'm saying. And shaving your head when you're a girl is staying relevant. Taking your shirt off on Instagram, she's a musician who supposedly writes songs. Taking a shirt off in her mind is staying relevant, and then it's all this emotional psychobabble that follows along with it. So, okay, man, that's fine. I don't feel like I even care about that because those are those people. And if you know anything about I'm not a Buddhist, but the Buddha, he's got a long sordid story, man. But basically, the culmination of him trying to adjust to the world of craziness, he sat in front of the fig tree and meditated while all these demons were trying to tempt him and all this stuff was going on. Things rushing back and forth, up and down, lightning flashing, all terrible stuff. And he's calm, staying calm in the storm. The Buddha. So Trevor Noah should be like the Buddha, but he's not. You know what he is? He's the guy who's controlled by Minky Kelly. And it's interesting to see. That's all. I kind of like it. It makes me feel that. It makes me feel like the guy is a regular person that can get caught up, no matter how successful you are, you can get caught up in people's bullcrap, you know. Look at Will Smith, right? And you saw the big headlines about his wife cheating on him, and these are high profile cheats. It ain't the guy that works at the supermarket. It's these other people who are high end entertainers. And how terrible. It was Will Smith, he himself, who said that he wanted to get to the point in his success where nobody would cheat on him. That's a terrible, horrible thing to feel. To say that you really need to feel that level of success so you can't trust people, and you want to be able to trust them and not cheat. And I'll tell you about cheating and relationships, long-term relationships where you're only with one person. I think at some point in your life, when you get to the level of you want to share your life with somebody awesome for love and companionship and all that, and you're not Mr. Wandering Eye or Mrs. Wandering Eye, but when you're younger, especially with social media and so many people at your fingertips, it's different now. It's different than it was 20 years ago. It's different than it was 40 years ago. And people did cheat, of course, and it's more about the people who were around them or the ones they cheated with. Nowadays, it's anybody and anybody anywhere. So it's just a difficult thing. And I think that, if you fall for someone and they're the beat all man, number one and whatever, and you're not just acting on lust impulses, because that's me. Impulses of lust, like a machine gun. But you're not just acting on stupid impulses, you're acting on real love. Like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You gotta say it. You gotta say it just like that. Like, I watch this shit, The Office. I talk about it from time to time, and if there's a very popular show, I just use it as background noise. I don't even watch it anymore. I just kind of keep it in the background. It's because it's not as obnoxious as the other stuff that I can put on. So, but in this series, this kind of plain, blase secretary is, with one guy down in the warehouse, engaged to him. They made a huge point out of, oh, it's been 3 years. Oh my God, so long for an engagement. And that's not a long time for an engagement. Whoever says that's a long time for an engagement is pushing marriages. They're not trying to say, hey, take your time, get to know somebody, that type, before you sign on the dotted line. Because it is a contract. So, and then she monkey branched from that dude to like a salesman in the office, a guy a little better looking, a little bit more money, and somebody who totally doesn't have his own free will. The guy's whole life becomes this thing, for her. And then, all she wanted to do was get married to a dude and have kids. Didn't matter who she married. And there's a lot of people out there like that. It doesn't matter. They just want to get married and have that blue pill male and that stable life, and then have children. But my thing is, if they don't care who they marry, then what difference does it make? And then you're just serving a purpose as a utility, and you're not really enjoying life with someone who truly loves you and wants to be with you. So I don't know. The relationship then comes down to numbers, right? And nothing about love and caring and being there for someone. So that's the problem, I think, is with a lot of people out there. And when you see these marriages kind of go and fizzle out, and they go so quick these days, 2/3 of America are getting divorced. I mean, that's a huge number. So I think that when I read these stories about, the gold diggers and all that too, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. But I think that's what these guys want. I mean, it's yeah, it's you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say. So Trevor Noah and Minka Kelly, who called it quits in May, they broke up after dating for nearly a year. So not even a year. And then he bought that mansion like a few months into the relationship. So it must have been pretty impressed by something to buy a $27.5 million mansion. Unfathomable amount of money for just, talk about a level of success. And this guy says that black people can't get ahead in America. He's a black guy from South Africa who bought a $27.5 million mansion in Malibu. I mean, when I hear these people, Colin, Kaepernick, and take the knee and whatever, I get the message, but the messenger is tainted. Just like AOC taxed the rich, wearing a designer dress, with her mouth full of stuff full of champagne and caviar. They're disingenuous. They're not real. They're not real people. They're kind of just saying, "Well, look, I'm fighting for your rights," and at the same time, they're the ones who are not representing you and taking things from you. And they're just playing the scene, right? So anyway, okay. On Friday, September 3rd, the two, of course, Trevor Noah and Minka Kelly, were spotted enjoying an afternoon outing together. Now, listen to this phrasing. They were spotted enjoying an afternoon outing together as they took the actress's dog out for a stroll in New York City. The duo kept things casual and low key during their hangout. Okay. So it shows him wearing a white T-shirt, gray cargo pants, and white sneakers. The Titans star also opted for a cozy, chic ensemble as she rocked an oversized caramel-colored sweater, matching jogger and Birkenstock sandals. See, the people who write this don't care about truths. Talk about embellishment, my God. While it's unclear if Minka, 41, and Trevor, 37, are working towards rekindling their romance, a source close to the Friday Night Lights alum previously told E! News that they still had feelings for each other. Things are going well between them. They're taking things slowly. The insider shared in June. They really like each other, but needed to take a step back and slow things down. So you're in a relationship with someone for less than a year, and it's so terrible that it breaks apart, and then you really like each other. Now there's a picture of him walking the dog, of course. He has the dog on the leash. The dog is making this really mean ass face. The dog is showing its teeth. It's like, either the dog doesn't want to be walked by him or what. I don't know, man. The dog is making the same face that Minka Kelly's making, except she's not showing her teeth. And then Trevor Noah's sitting there like someone just hit him in the head with a sledgehammer. He looks like a dude who's in love and broken. I'm reading this right all on his face. And he probably went to the city to find her, to try to reconcile with her, and she's playing the game. She's playing the game. And she's like, here, take the dog. And he's got to walk the dog, and the dog is mad, pissed off. So he's suffering. And that's people. That's the human condition. He's suffering because she's making him suffer. But who knows why she's acting the way she's acting? Listen, man, if this guy is that full of hate, like I've seen on his shows, you really think that that hate goes too far, that doesn't come off of TV and into his personal life? That type of anger, I mean, this dude has that what is that? That Trump derangement syndrome, right? And now I don't know what he's doing on his show. They made a point of saying it's all new, totally different. Trevor Noah back on the Daily Show. I don't hear anybody saying anything about it. Nothing. And I know a lot of people personally who have cut the cord with these cable companies, and they're just selecting what they want to watch on their own, which is the way it should be. So, okay. Nothing is official between them, added the insider. Do you think the insider was the dog? The dog looked like it definitely had an opinion. That dog has definitely seen some stuff. They're spending time together. She hasn't moved back into his place, his big mansion, or taken big steps forward. She's probably trying to see who she can like monkey branch to that's better. Instead, they're just enjoying going on dates where he goes and he grovels, apologizing, right? And she sits there laughing in his face, torturing the poor guy. This guy should call me, man. Trevor Noah, if you're listening, give me a call. You can find me. You can find me online. Call me. I'll talk you down, dude. I'll talk you out of this. The two have been notoriously private about their personal lives, haven't publicly commented on their split or recent hangouts. See, talk to me one conversation, and then that's it, man. You're done. I'll set you on the right path. So I feel for people out there that suffer, but not people out there that cause their own suffering. And I've been there. I've been there. Been there. Let me tell you, man. And life is short, like for that herd of buffalo, right? Drunken buffalo. Life is short. But this is one that's interesting when it comes down to big money and marriage, right? So billionaire with a B, John Paulson and wife is an epic divorce. Another epic divorce, right? Billionaire and investor John Polson is divorcing his wife of 21 years, Jenny. 8675309. That's the amount of money she's going to get for more times two. I got it. I got it. I got the money from you, sucker. And there's a picture of them sitting next to each other. Man, she looks so mean. Mean. This dude just looks like he's gotten beaten on. Another one. He hang out with Trevor Noah. But she just has such a mean, nasty face. Like, you know? Who wants to be around that? You often wonder why these guys even get married to begin with. It's a bad deal. You know, when you're a billionaire, even if you have prenups and all that, it's a bad deal. These days, mothers are telling their sons not to get married because they're afraid they're going to, lose it all. They have to pay half of what they want for the rest of their life. You should see what's going on in Canada, where now, if you date someone up to a year and you break up with them, the guy has to pay the woman like a palimony, which is crazy. In Montreal, you know what? You're going to make it so people don't want to even date. And, who are they trying to protect? The people that would take advantage of something like that, right? Billionaire investor John Paulson, and I don't feel bad for him either, by the way, is divorcing his wife of 21 years, Jenny, 86753. All right, never mind. And the stage is set for one of the most expensive splits of all time. Yeah, that doesn't hold a candle to Bezos, though, and Amazon. I mean, this guy is only a little billionaire. Now, Bezos, that was real dough. And Bezos' ex-wife, who is single now, should know that I am also single. Just saying. The 65-year-old business guru who made $20 billion shorting the house market before the 2008 crash, so he screwed people basically, cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the breakup, according to the paperwork filed Monday in Suffolk County. And they've both hired powerful New York divorce attorneys. You get that image of Darth Vader. You don't know the power of New York attorneys. And they are, let's see, insiders in the legal world are billing this the clash of the titans. Do you think the insider is also Minka Kelly's dog? I think that dog sees a lot of stuff. I think, I think there's no prenup in this case. And John gathered most of his fortune during their marriage. So this is going to be an epic, wildly expensive divorce. One source. See, now that's a different situation to me. If you marry somebody and you gain your fortune while you're together in a relationship, as they help you in ways with your business, then that's a whole different situation than being the rich guy and just marrying somebody and then you get a divorce and they try to take all your freaking money. It's a different situation. So Paulson, who married Jenny in 2000 after she worked as his assistant, and what did I say? That's how these guys meet. Look, you're 2000, man. Barely people on the internet, right? There was no internet, barely, like email, stuff like that. And she worked as his assistant. Was most recently reported to be worth $4.7 billion. That's nothing compared to a Bezos. That guy throws that money out the window and laughs. He doesn't, but he should. So insiders say that his true wealth could actually be many times that number. Yeah, because these guys stash their money in other countries over the border, you know, offshore accounts. The source added that the estranged couple, parents to two daughters, Giselle and Danielle, both cash cows, I mean, his daughters, had grown apart and been living different lives in the past 15 years. They will have to split an impressive property portfolio. They have an enormous 28,500 square foot Upper East Side townhouse. 28,500 square foot Upper East Side townhouse. Jeez. For how many people, man? Two? You know what? that's that's a lot, man. on East 86, in a nice area. You know, you can just hear the gunshots from Harlem, Spanish Harlem, man, just a little bit on East 86th Street. They probably have all nice soundproofing in there. And they bought this for $14.7 million in 2004. The Paulsons have an estate in Southampton, bought for $41 million in 2008, and a home in Aspen they purchased for 24.5 million. So how much they say it was worth? 4.7 billion. I guess he's got the dosh. John has hired power attorney William D. Zabel. In case any guys out there need a power attorney in the city, William D. Zabel. Disable. He will disable the opponent, who has represented a series of prominent clients, including George Soros, Howard Stern, Jane Welch, Mort Zuckerman, Bill Ford, Peggy Bewees, and Bill Ackman, and related owner Stephen Ross. Howard Stern, I think, and George Soros are the only ones I recognize for that pile of poop I just listed. Zabel said in a statement, John has deep respect for Jenny and will continue to support all that is best. You see, he knows he's screwed. You know what I mean? You're not firing any shots. You're just kind of sitting there saying, oh, I respect you. Meanwhile, Jenny is believed to be taking a prominent divorce attorney, Robert S. Cohen. Oh, the other guy's sunk. The Cohen will beat the disabled. That's what I'm saying. Who is also working with Melinda Gates and has handled divorces for stars including Uma Thurman, James Gandolfini, Ivana Trump, and former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Who? It's going to be a battle of the Titans, right? And what comes out of it in the end? Massive amounts of cash. Massive amounts of cash. Speaking of cash, a little paranormal tidbit, but it's not paranormal in nature. It's about cash. So the couple that bought the Conjuring house, right? They made a big deal out of it. I mean, they only paid $450,000 for it. Made a huge deal about how they're going to fix it up, and and it's a great house, and open it up to the public, and ghost hunts, and all the stuff they're going to do, and how that tells a story, and the land, and they're in love with it. They're going to own it forever. Has put it up for sale for $1.2 million. So in 2019, they paid $440,000. The only reason why they're selling at 1.2 million is because it's the Conjuring house. I don't know anybody who has that kind of money who would actually want to buy a place like that, which is very funny. But just a little tidbit of what kind of people they are, and follow the money. It's all about money, right? All about money. But when the truth hits the fan, you got to be able to call a pig, and you can't look the other way, even if it's let's say you're Catholic, and there's terrible things going on in the Catholic Church that you don't like. It doesn't mean that you're bad, but it means that you're supporting an entity that does bad things, and looks the other way and allows bad things to happen, like the rampant child molestation throughout the Catholic Church around the world. Okay, here's a story for you. An Italian Roman Catholic priest has been placed under house arrest for allegedly stealing over $117,000 in church funds and parishioners' donations for drugs, lavish gay sex parties in his home. So the Reverend Francisco Saganisi, 40 years old, of Prato, Italy, who is locally known for his inspiring homilies, was caught after police were tipped off that his roommate had imported a liter of the common date rape drug GHB from the Netherlands. A liter. I don't know anything about date rape drugs or GHB, but I know a liter is a hell of a lot of stuff when you're talking about a drug. And these are priests. Police are in the process of interviewing 200 people who they've said have attended his parties in the last 2 years. The two men are alleged to have used online dating sites to invite guests to their home where drugs were used and sold. Officers reportedly found how homemade crack pipes and bottles during the raid on the apartment. Spanganisi is a former medical student who dropped out to join the priesthood at the age of 26, reportedly saying he found the fullness and joy in making myself available to others. I guess he did with date rape drugs or made themselves available to him. Spanganisi had withdrawn over 117,000 bucks from parish bank accounts, which police suspect was used for purchase drugs and other things. What other things? You mean like pinatas or party favors? You know, when the bishop halted access to the priest's funds, he began stealing money from the mass's collections and asking parishioners for money, telling them he was raising aid for poor families. Oh, horrible. The priest, beloved in the community, quickly raised thousands of dollars from the unsuspecting churchgoers, and they have since begun to take legal action against Spaganisi, demanding their money back. I want my money back, eh? You use it for the gay sex and not for the poor. I can hear that. Slinging some spaghetti at each other. Hey, son of a bitch. You do some of my money. Spanganisi's lawyer, Constantina Melerba, who did not represent the Trumps and all these other people like the other one did, told the Times the priest had confessed to supplying drugs to others at parties and is expected to admit stealing church funds. The priest, anyway. So, one, I'll say, at least he wasn't raping kids. I'll give him that. Number two, this is the weirdness about the Catholic Church where people aren't allowed to have sex. And then these guys, knowingly go into a situation with a lot of other men. And, this is what a lot of them are kind of seeking out. And it's an easy way of life for them, right? But the church just hides all this constantly. And man, what about the people? What about the people that call themselves Catholic? Or Christian even, I mean, when it comes down to using and abusing these images to make money, so they use it for drugs and gay sex parties and whatever the hell they use it for. So I think at the end of the day, people are going to wisen up. There's more information out there every day about cults and scams. I'm not seeing anything good when it comes to this. And you know what? I had someone say it to me the other day, like I mentioned early on in the show, that my birthday tomorrow, and lost my mom in April, and I'm just not feeling it. You know what I mean? And this person was like, got to have prayer in your life. And, prayer will save you and the ones you love, and pray, pray, pray. And I couldn't really say anything at that time to that person of what I would normally want to say. But yeah, if you expect prayers or hope or any of that to solve your problems, it won't. You got to do it yourselves. And, you know, if you're dying of a horrible disease, that's exactly what's happening. And it's the quality of life in between, not sitting there getting poked and prodded by doctors necessarily, but the quality of life that you experience until you go out, because we're all going to die. So you can pray as much as you want. You can hope as much as you want. Positive thoughts are great, but don't expect people to, don't expect angels to show up and save you, right? Don't expect it to happen like that. So, talking about that, this guy, all right, cancer survivor, dies after beer keg explodes at 43rd birthday party. So, I'm going to file this under the category of when it's your time, it's your time. And also under the file, you know, it is what it is. Okay. A Brazilian man died at his own birthday party last week after a beer keg exploded while he was trying to fix it. The tragedy occurred the evening of September 17th after Gilson do Necessitimoto. I'll pronounce it better than that. Nascimento, 43, rented the booze barrel for his birthday bash in Campo Bom in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul, newspapers said. Unfortunately, the beer wouldn't come out of the tap properly, so the locksmith shop owner decided to try to repair it himself. There was a problem, said Nascimento's niece, who opted to remain anonymous. And of course, because you don't want your name out there when a beer keg explodes a guy. And along with the man's wife, sister, and 15-year-old son, nobody wanted to say anything. She said only foam was coming out of the device. My uncle called the rental company and they gave him instructions on how to start fixing it until they arrived, she added. Tragedy struck, however, when the brew dispensing device blew up, causing metal shards to hit Nascimento in the head. The victim's niece said the family is very shaken by the freak accident. Nascimento's passing is perhaps even more tragic, given that 6 years prior, the man had battled cancer, which forced him to spend almost 2 months in the ICU. Police are interviewing witnesses at the scene of the incident, uh, and then they're calling it accidental, right? Well, it wasn't a planned event. However, authorities are investigating the brewery and delivering company to determine if there was a malfunction in the barrel that they supplied. Sounds like a lawsuit. The lawyer of Chop Express, which supplied the keg, insisted that contrary to the niece's prior claims, the customer was told not to touch the equipment as a technician was heading to the house to repair it. He added that when the keg repairman did arrive, the beer dispenser had already exploded and the victim was dead at the scene. But he did get the beer going, which was on the good note, for the people. And I mean, it's a birthday party. An autopsy took place on September 18th in the morning after his death, and Nascimento was buried the following day at the Jardin da Memoria, or whatever, man. He was a warrior, a working man, a wonderful family man. He was everything. Oh, that's what his godmother said. Angela Marina de Oliveira. At least the godmother gave her name. The other people, well, his wife and kids. Sad though, but interesting. When it's your time, it's your time. No matter how fast you run, you can survive cancer, get out of the ICU. You live those few years of your life. You're celebrating your birthday. You tap a keg. You think you can fix things. That's the problem with guys in general. The men have a defect in their brain, thinking they can fix anything, and they're. I'm not like that because I was like that. And then I realized when I go to fix something and I mess it up even more than it's already messed up, I end up paying double the amount of money for someone to come fix it. So this, if I don't know anything about the thing, or if I can't look it up on YouTube and get into that, I don't touch it, man. But there are dudes out there who think they can fix anything, especially the guy's a locksmith. He whipped out those little locksmith picking tools, starts messing around, and booyah! It's a Budweiser blast of death, right? Probably Corona. I don't know. A Michelob, It was a Heine Heineken death. So anyway, I'm sorry for people like that. And I feel bad for his family. It sounds like they definitely got something going on. Uh, Most likely, the technician said, "Don't touch it. I'm on the way." And then the guy's like, "I can do it." That's what it sounds like. So they're barking up the wrong court. They don't think they're going to get money from a situation like that. Anyway, that's just my legal advice for that family if they're listening. 43rd birthday, man. Yikes. Anyway, I'm going to end the show here. I was going to talk a little bit about Ben Affleck because he is so freaking funny, man. He really is. He's even like white knighting for Jennifer Lopez, like some wacko with a camera like rushing at her, wanting to get a selfie. And Ben Affleck stepped in like, "Listen, pal, you know how he is. Listen, listen, pal. Don't be touching my woman. She's my woman for now. Don't be touching her." And these psycho fans, you ever see a psycho fan? I've seen psycho fans. I've worked in the business where psycho fans exist when they show up to see famous people and on all levels. And yeah, man, they can get pretty crazy. They get like brainwashed by these people. So anyway, good for you, Ben Affleck, for being a white knight. One day it's going to get your head blown off. So when these psycho freaks are going to pull out a gun and shoot you. That's why you got bodyguards, right? Keep the bodyguards around. So anyway, I'm going to end the show. You got to check out the show after me. You got Michelle coming on, you got Amelia coming on, all kinds of good stuff, man. You know what? They're the best. They're the best, especially Amelia Pizan. Oh my God, oh my God. The best. And they got people from Europe coming on, man. They're European. You know what? You drink too much beer? European. I'll see you guys next week on United Public Radio Network, UPRNTalkradio.com. Take the red pill, take the red pill, take the red pill. Bye.